Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to the platform. Today's what, Friday? It's Friday, yo, turn up, let's go, man. Friday, all my people, listen. For one day for you to bless your brother on this app. Oh, snap, we are at 37,000 views, 37,000 subs on Bolo VNR 2.0. Are we growing on Bolo VNR clips? That's what's up. God is the greatest, man. God is the greatest. Yeah, there's a lot going on, so we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna peruse as much as I can while I can. You know what I mean? I'm gonna peruse what's going on in this space. But there's some things that I really want to highlight because stuff is really getting out of hand, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, things is really getting out of hand in Jamaica right now. I go back to when Andrew was in opposition, and Mr. Richard Azan situation came up, and he was very adamant about it being something that could bring down the entire government. Understand what I'm saying? And it's like, man, okay, if we are to compare what is happening now with the country, can anybody honestly say to me that can anybody um can anybody honestly say to me that there isn't a systematic situation happening right now where our government is concerned, where our country is concerned? Like, can anybody honestly say, welcome everybody on Bolo Vienna 2.0? Can people honestly look at me and say there isn't a systematic issue um, that has the potential to tear down the entire government happening now under the Jamaica Labour Party government? And all we have to do is go to all we have to do is go to the recent events of the debate of the Naira bill, just the debate itself, what was presented on the Naira bill. Can we all agree that um, that in itself, just the attempt of that in itself, would have sparked pretty much the end of Jamaica? And that's where I am putting it. I don't know about anybody else. Giving one individual that level of power as the minister, right? That level of power to direct a CEO, and then giving the CEO deputy powers that would essentially make that individual a superman or superwoman in their job, where they can operate with impunity, no checks and balances, really, in real time, right? Because um, Mark Golden made a valid point. Um, Mark Golden made a valid point, ladies and gentlemen, that when you look at um, there's no board, there's no checks and balance for the entity itself. You get me? So how can they honestly look at us and tell us that, yeah man, you think this thing here going good, Yeah man, that's something here going good. How can they honestly look at us and tell us that this is just a beautiful bill, and it's going to benefit um maximize the benefit of the taxpayers, that we essentially are the ones that will have to foot the bill. you know, Whatever that CEO does, potentially. illegally or wrong, they won't be going to prison. We can't get back our money. They'll be essentially fired, and that will be the end of it. Listen to me, Jamaica. I'm gonna continue to repeat that because I don't want that to become a 9-day wonder where we need to remember that they literally try to sell this to us in a debate. The Prime Minister of Jamaica literally tried to sell us this Naira bill. And after Mark Jefferson Golden ripped it to shreds. Here we are. Here we are. Thank God for Marky G, man, and the People's National Party. Thank God for Marky G and the People's National Party. Real thing. I want to yeah, I have to find that video. Yeah, right here, so Andrew Holness says he's doing his job. Here we go. Listen to this. Remember this? Remember this? We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government, right, was openly accepting, yes, responsibility. Yes. He expresses no regret for the act. No. Where a Commissioner of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution. Right. And that minister shows no sign of wanting to resign. Or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the minister. With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. What's up? Antonio, where you going with, bro? Bless up yourself. Alright? I want us to remember, listen to this, Bolo this morning with this sort of reaction. So we have to take firm action in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica. A dark day. Where the Prime Minister, yes, is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of society are all agreed that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people will place in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government. If you have belly fat after 50, stop doing crunches. Do these 5 tight. Let's play that one more time. We don't feel comfortable. Yes. Sitting in Parliament. Yes. The Minister of Government was openly accepting responsibility. Yes. He expresses no regret for the act. Where a Commissioner of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution. And that minister shows no sign of wanting to resign. Or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the minister. With all the sympathy that one can have for support. Yes. This is embarrassing. Embarrassing. Not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP. Yes. But to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Yes. Our heads are down. This morning. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, our heads bow. Yo. After we heard the Naira bill. Our heads bow. We head bow, man. When you hear the Naira bill, we head bow. We couldn't believe. We couldn't believe, say. We couldn't believe, say, the man them literally come out with a bill like that and have a secrecy clause in the bill. Like, it's unbelievable. Given Wagwan, let me see who just comment a while ago. Big up yourself, Captain Mergy. Big up yourself, Dion Campbell, bless up. Is that Dion? No, Dion Campbell. Hmm. um, it's like these people forget that we are in one of the most corrupt times in the country. Public confidence, international confidence, right now in the administration. It's like they forget say Andrew sue the Integrity Commission and try to ask the judge to remove the very act itself that deals with illicit enrichment, brother. It's like them forget say we never remember say then try to remove impeachment or propose a removal of impeachment on the constitutional reform a couple years ago. It's like them it's like them no it's like them believe say everybody out here so just some people now listen to them and hear what them a say and understand the implication of what them a say. The man them no want no checks and how you fi have a bill where the CEO cannot be held liable. At the most money a pass through any agency, any entity to deal with anything at all. And we not supposed to get nothing, no checks and balance. Yeah man.
Bolo this morning with this sort of reaction. So we have to take firm action in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society all agree that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.
So the Richard Hassan situation had the potential to bring down the entire government. Richard Hassan, and I'm not saying what he did was right, but let us really compare the weight of the two atrocities. Or any, huh? No, me not sleep now at all. When me sleep little bit, me really sleep much. Me do some only work this morning. Um, but let us compare the weight at Richard as an atrocity that he is stating that would bring down the entire government potentially. So Richard Hassan built some shops for some poor people, pretty much, some boat shop. He never go through the proper procurement. He never benefited from it in terms of money going in pocket in any way, shape, or form. All he did was not follow proper procedure. Now, how much procurement rules this government in a multiple ministries has broken? When you compare market me, when you compare market me to Richard Hassan's situation, the situation with market me, doesn't that have the potential to bring down the entire government? Where a minister of government can literally give him girlfriend, right? Through just him word of mouth, influence his girlfriend getting $85 million worth of contract. And oh, by the way, all of those contracts were direct contracts. Nobody was competing for those contracts. So you know, say a blatant favoritism. And we can't even calculate the value for money because other entities were doing the same things that she was doing. So we don't even know if her company was doing a better job for the Ministry of Health than the other companies. Again, there was no competitive bidding. It was all direct contracts. So when I compared that to Richard Hassan's situation, which one of them is something that could bring down the entire government? Christopher Tufton's situation is scandalous. The man Ben Spunahani benefited from $85 million worth of contract because of his influence. That is scandalous. Richard Hassan literally just try to help some poor people so they can make some money in the market. Abina, what's up? Bless up yourself. Captain say I grew up honest and mom always scold us about hatred. But Andrew honest. Hey Captain, don't move away from your mother teachings. Your mother was right. When I explain to some what you call it, some comrades online say, yo, don't make Andrews make you hate him, brother. Because all you know do is sully on own a soul. You understand? And you know say God, you can't have them the type of heart they want God for in on the space or you understand what I say? So don't make him me know say it hard still because of the wickedness what them a do. But the best thing for do is pray. You feel me I deal with because God a go deal with them, you know. God a go deal with them, you see me? But mighty God man, can we compare something else? Can we compare something else? Let us look at Daryl Vaz. Daryl Vaz literally um broke the law. How you doing, Sassy? Daryl Vaz literally broke the law and said to us, listen, I would do it again. I would do it again. The auditor general said the man breach and the man said, listen, how you doing, Ardy? The man said, listen, I will do it again. The man said, I will do it again. I said, mighty God of Daniel. The man bare face, brother. So what is the difference with what is the difference between what Daryl Vaz did and what Richard Hassan did? Richard Hassan said him don't have no regret, you know. And Daryl Vaz said he would do it again. Which one is worse, Jamaica? Let us really be fair. Which one is worse? I can give you more examples. I can give you more examples. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Nara. I'm going to go to Nara. You feel me? I deal with me. I go to Nara, man. I go to Nara because these people take us for some baboons and some. Let me see. Let me see. So this is where showers. These are the police. Which one this? Um, these are the. Well, let me hear this. The waste workers protest after. Oh, hold on. One is sinfully. Yo, man, I tell you. The details. This is against the death of a. The police are keeping a close watch on Spanish Town Road, where workers employed to NPM Waste Management are protesting. This is against the death of a sanitation officer. TVJ News understands that 23-year-old Garfield Johnson received severe burns on January 16 while working in the Greenwich Farm community in St. Andrew. He succumbed to his injuries Tuesday. That come, man. But some of the time I don't say no come. No come, no. No fighting there without me on that side. That was by the train line. Because you don't want to raise. You understand? Because I told you to clean the area. However, JPS was not notified that the work will be doing that specific morning so that they can disconnect electricity. Garfield Johnson was electrocuted, burned. Him organs them mash up. My God. Heart, him liver, him lungs, everything. Whoa. In extending condolences to the deceased man's family, NSWMA Chief Executive Officer Audley Gordon says an investigation will be launched. Hey, Saturday, if you want to join the live, I can send you the link where you can come up right beside me. Yeah. You can come up right beside me on the live. You can turn your camera on and or off. I can send you the link to your WhatsApp number. Alright? So let me know if you want to come up, okay? But me know say you're probably busy because, boss lady and all. Let's continue. I visited Garfield in the hospital and really thought at my visit where I met his mom that well, let me just we have to multitask this while I scroll. He would have made it. We didn't expect this. So for us, it's very painful. Garfield was a good worker, and he is gonna be. He's a sadly missed, and which is why we are here this morning. This guy is not normal. This guy, man. I understand it fully. I am Philip as part of Virginia, come lick me next trip, The directors
of the LS community are all here because we feel this pain.
In the meantime, after coming under fire for the slow pace of garbage collection in areas hit by Hurricane Melissa, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is reporting improvements. O'Shane Masters reports.
The newly established Debris Management Committee under the National Solid Waste Management Agency is now seeing success. Executive Director Audley Gordon says the team was formed in response to the significant amount of cleanup required in the western region of the island. He adds that the committee is operating in a systematic and coordinated manner to improve efficiency. We are going into rural St. James, the deeper pockets, and we have identified some groups that will be targeted. And Ms. Johnson will elaborate on that when she speaks. We are also guided by new intelligence every day. And so even this spot of ground where we are this morning is because our intelligence from the Debris Management Committee that's doing our mapping had led us here. We wouldn't see this normally if you drive on the main road. Actually, we learned of this. And so this morning we are cleaning up this very important corridor. And there's a lot here to be removed. In the meantime, Chair of the Debris Management Committee, Shanique Johnson, says the team is working closely with the Jamaica National Heritage Trust.
In Black River, it's going to take some time to be done because we have to be mindful of the heritage sites. And we are working in close collaboration with the Jamaica Heritage Trust as to which buildings we can really remove the debris from, because we might see it as debris. But to be honest, it might be things that the Jamaica Heritage Trust would need for the continuation of the heritage sites that are in the area.
However, addressing concerns about the timeline for return to normal garbage collection across the island, Mr. Gordon says updates will be provided in March. We are mapping the country in the most affected areas. And we are coming upon more and more of these kind of things where you didn't expect to see stuff. You are seeing it in bushes. You are seeing it as you go along. It's not something like you have everything bungled up in a big heap one place, so you can go there. Like I can tell you at Independence Park, we'll finish it this week. Because we are looking at it. We look at what we have moved already.
Yeah,
and
Philip.
we look at where we are now. So we
Yeah,
can
man,
make a
when I circle back, man.
assumption that in 3-4 days, we will finish. As it relates to illegal dumping sites, Mr. Gordon said, we believe that there's a lot of ignorance in the system. A lot of, people do things without even understanding fully the implications of what they're doing. We want to go out and have the conversation with them to make sure that we communicate the best practices, the best approaches. We want to get the public into a place where personal responsibility is not coerced. It just happens as a duty. Shane Masters, TPJ News.
So the brethren losing life. I work with the people. Yeah. Even though if that the man there get no compensation. Cause I watch the news the other day and one brother from Tivoli, but he get shot in the Tivoli incursion. I know man not get no compensation, And the MP tell him say that Desmond Mackenzie tell him say, according to the man, Desmond Mackenzie tell him say, he don't have the money for give him. And what them say is that him can't identify who exactly shoot him. No, Jamaica, I'm gonna ask some question. Something probably wrong with me. Sometimes I made a story, I'm well made in because I say, something wrong with me, Something after I mean something wrong with me. I put it on me say something wrong with me. So you're telling me the state mishandled the Tivoli incursion, that are the government at the time, the JLP. You live in our JLP constituency and you suffer the biggest blunt of that mishandling, where soldier come in now and police and you, our innocent person, regular citizen, as far as record is concerned. Nobody don't know if you in no wrongdoing for record. Let me state that on record. You're a law-abiding citizen. Seen? And you walk out of your house and get shot in a your hand to the point where the man them have to actually take off skin from your leg, from one of your leg them, to actually put back your hand together so it could have sew up. That are the level of damage you get from that situation. And I don't remember how long the Tivoli incursion was. Somebody can tell me, Google it and tell me which year that happened. I think it was 2007. No, 2000, 2008, 9, 10. One of them. One because remember say PMP they come in 2013, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 2013. So the Tivoli incursion happened between that time, about 2007, 8, 9, 10. But I don't remember. So you're telling me that almost, it was 2010? Thank you for that. So 16 years, 16 years. This man suffered that. And he has not gotten any compensation. Thank you so much, Afi. How are you doing? It was 2009. Somebody said 2010. Somebody said 2009. So thereabout. That's what I was thinking. 2008, 9. One of them. So 16 years has passed and the man has gotten nothing. When you look on this situation with this man now that lost his life, you think say he's gonna get anything from the government? What is the track record of poor people in Jamaica getting justice in Jamaica in similar situations, regardless of which which community you live in, without JLP or PMP supporting community? Is there a good track record of that? This man, him man upon it, something about out and I say, yo, I call upon the Prime Minister. Brother, I don't even think you're going to get an answer from the Prime Minister. I don't even think the Prime Minister is going to look at you. Ivy Morgan said Tivoli incursion was in 2011. When you can Google it, man, so much people can't get the wrong answer, man. When you Google it for one next device, man, once you Google when it happened, you're going to get the accurate answer. But I believe it was 2010, 2011. And as they say, I was in Jamaica then. See? So, you know, when it comes out to justice to the citizens, them, so we are examining every ministry of government. Nats, thank you, appreciate you. Thank you for the gift, Nats. Yeah, man, today a Friday, man. Keep those gifts coming and those super chats, man. Big up on yourself. So Caliga said it was 2010. Caliga look like he can go up on the internet and go look it up. But the point I'm making is this. That man, I don't think that man is gonna get any justice. Because essentially his case could land him multiple millions of dollars. Yeah, multiple. I mean, look, can we go back a little bit in terms of justice for poor people? Remember the Rasta man who did in prison for 50 years? Mm? And wrongfully, and it was declared by the judge. I think Isaac Buchanan was the one that took that case up, and him have like mental imbalances, trying to be as respectful as possible. And what the judge said he should get is a good amount of money in the millions. I remember say JLP said them go them a carry goes court because him don't deserve that amount of money. So if he should spend 50 years in prison and the millions of dollars that the court said that he should get, and JLP government, the lawyer them for the JLP say, yo, they took a decision that they're going to appeal it because the man get too much money. You think say the man at Tivoli will come out now on the news, I go get no money? When the MP tell him say, the man a call upon the price, brother, nobody now look for you, they now look for you, brother. You better wake up because you see, me I try to put it in a simplest way. So you meet a girl, right? Or you meet a guy, whatever. Them in our relationship. you realize say the girl treat the guy good, or the guy treat the girl good. But you like the guy, I feel like say, yeah, you can take away the guy from the girl. And the guy or the girl, cause me don't want it to seem like say me on one side, right? Them the way them break it off with the girl or the guy, them treat them like shit. You think say you not gonna be in the same position soon? You think say because you take away the girl, the person can be taken away. So if you look upon the situation, how them a treat loyal supporters from Tivoli and not getting any justice, you think say as a regular citizen, you will get justice under this government? You're mad, man. You're joking. I don't know what you're smoking, but put it down. No, sir, not like that, nuts. Um, yeah, you're joking. You really need to wake up if you think say you'll get no justice. So that are the social justice side of the dark days in Jamaica right now. And that's just one aspect. Jain, what's up, baby? Thank you for the 10 to the super chat. My honorary member of the platform. That's what I'm talking about. It's Friday. Turn me up. You know what I mean? Me need 10 at the $20 one them still. And that are the aim for the goal. But I appreciate everything that is blessed. You understand? That is, and English money that you know Jamaica. You know, no, man. You know, man, £11. Them dead. Big up yourself, Jain. That's what I'm talking about, man. Keep it coming, guys. But anyway, let's see. I want, yeah, right, so. This, I have to play this. I have to play this.
Believe it or not, I will draw the person you will marry. One of my clients asked
Oh
for a
my
reading.
God, Athio, another honorary member of the platform with the 20 to the super chat. I have to big up yourself, Selvan, every all of me, I remember them are come out right now. We have Athio, we have Selvanev. The only person missing is Sassy81. Shout out to Sassy81 wherever you are. Shout out to Selvanev, Jain, and Athio. Big up on yourself. So we need 9 more of them then now. See Athio start off a ball game then. Let's continue.
She thought the man I sketched looked like her neighbor, but it turned out he was her soulmate.
Easy.
All right, so in this one, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Cow, the opposition, would have covered the points.
Yes, let's
I
go.
think the use of the standing order.
Now turn on my camera a little bit. I want to see me at feed me face.
Of the leader of the opposition.
Very unprofessional.
Was very unfortunate. Consistent with a growing practice of suppression of voices, not supporting the government.
Jain, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. If you don't catch the live, you watch the replay. Big up yourself. Everybody will do that. Respect. Make we hear Peter Bunting break it down, you know.
Let me play that back, because I think that went over some people's heads.
Mm.
One more time.
One
Mr.
more
Bunting is
time.
uncle. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. I had not originally intended to contribute to the debate because I was confident that the leader of the opposition would have covered the points.
Right.
I think the use of the standing orders to curtail the important contribution of the leader of the opposition was very unfortunate.
Yeah, that me eat, that me eat.
Growing practice of suppression of voices, not
Jamaica National League.
Members of Parliament were not elected to come here to serve the standing orders. The standing orders are here to serve the Parliament.
Let them know, Peter Bunting, let them know.
And when it is used to stifle and suppress an important contribution on a bill that is so significant to the future of this country, it is disgraceful. We can begin by acknowledging the scale of the crisis. Hurricane Melissa inflicted devastation of historic proportions. That demands urgency, it demands coordination, it demands leadership, but above all, it demands accountability. And that, Mr. Speaker, is precisely what this bill fails to provide. It is a blank check without guardrails. This legislation creates an authority with sweeping powers over billions of dollars in reconstruction expenditure, yet strips away the very safeguards.
Yes, sir. A drink.
And what this bill demands accountability. And that, Mr. Speaker, is precisely what this bill fails to provide. It is a blank check without guardrails. This legislation creates an authority with sweeping powers over billions of dollars in reconstruction expenditure, yet strips away the very safeguards that protect public funds. The authority is empowered to procure goods, works, and services directly. It can enter into any transaction it deems necessary, and it is funded by unlimited parliamentary appropriations and other inflows. Mr. Speaker, this is not reconstruction governance. This is a fiscal free-for-all. Where are the exclusive procurement rules? Where are the independent oversight mechanisms? Where is the requirement for competitive tendering, public disclosure, on money audits in real time? Instead, we are asked to trust blindly that this authority will regulate itself.
My God.
That is not how Westminster democracy works.
No.
What we are seeing here is executive capture. The Prime Minister controlling everything. The architecture of this authority is not independent. It is subordinate to the executive. The CEO is appointed by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister can issue binding directions and the CEO must comply. The Cabinet alone determines which projects are approved and which are strategic. This is not a balanced institutional design. This is centralized executive control over project selection, procurement, and execution. In any serious Westminster parliamentary democracy, such executive concentration of power would be offset by a statutorily independent board, by parliamentary committee pre-approval of major projects, by mandatory publication of decisions and contracts. None of that is here.
God. You know him?
Hey, when we tell you, say, Peter Bunty never hold back. Watson down, big up yourself, big up everybody on your life. Peter Bunting never hold back. Let's play that again. The man never on fire. Hold on. The Prime Minister can issue binding direction. CEO is appointed by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister can issue binding directions and the CEO must comply. The Cabinet alone determines which projects are approved and which are strategic. This is not a balanced institutional design. This is centralized executive control over project selection, procurement, and execution. In any serious over project selection, procurement, and execution. In any serious Westminster parliamentary democracy, such executive concentration of power would be offset by a statutorily independent board, by parliamentary committee pre-approval of major projects, by mandatory publication of decisions and contracts. None of that is here. None of that. Instead, we have a structure where the same political is not right. Tell about them. Hey, I say this a live stream I heard some labor right now. It appears they're hot. Till all them are typing and me chat be a foolishness. Yo, them are typing in my chat foolishness about things that we already say I lie them at them. That's how much labor right them heard right now. They just spew nonsense in it. They not have no rebuttal. Freeway. Peter Bunting say. Basically for them argument is, well, the PNP thief, so Andrew supposed to be given the opportunity for thief. Not to fix the problem of thieving, you know. This is what the labor right now are doing on the chat right now, people. How sad is this? Let's continue. Mandatory publication, mandatory statutorily independent board by parliamentary committee. Oh, and the person who put it in the chat actually have the 56 Cumberland Road. So I'm going to Andrew watch me, you know. I'm going to Andrew watch me on TikTok, you know. Yo! Andrew, sir, you watch. Let's continue. Approval of major projects by such executive concentration of power would be offset by a statutorily independent board by parliamentary committee pre-approval of major projects by mandatory publication of decisions and contracts. None of that is here. None of that. Instead, we have a structure where the same political directorate decides, directs, and effectively executes. This is the very definition of unchecked executive power. And then, when we speak about the stepping power to override the entire regulatory state. In a sense, this is perhaps the most alarming feature of this bill. Under sections 21 to 24, the authority can issue directives to regulatory bodies, force timelines, and ultimately ask the minister to override those bodies directly. The minister can then grant approvals himself, modify or remove conditions imposed by the regulators, and those decisions carry full legal effect as if made by the original authority. Jamaica essentially, Andrew Holness created a bill where this body can just be the law within itself and circumvent every guardrail that is there to protect us, the citizens of Jamaica. So we are left to the will of the minister and his integrity. It's like the minister would be playing God then and making all the rules. Whatever suits him or her. That's what it does. And there's no clear indication of which minister would be the minister that run NARA. And all of you that are listening to me, do you think that Andrew Holness would leave that responsibility to anybody else but himself? Given how him have about 135,000 different agencies in the office of the Prime Minister? Him do all of this. Him have this, we call it, a micromanaging type of style about it. Do you guys think that anybody else would be the head of NARA except for Andrew Holness? Based off of how this thing is structured? And how it's being broken down? Somebody say, I can't believe that we use Andrew and they can't believe that we use Andrew Holness and integrity in the same sentence. Thank you so much, Brad. Enough said. Let's continue. Mr. Speaker, let us call this what it is. This is the executive branch arrogating to itself the powers of every regulatory authority in Jamaica. Planning, environmental, utilities, and all in the name of expedition.
I can speed it up. The people don't like me off camera. They want to see me.
We have seen this movie before. A recent example in Europe. I would call it the Urbanesque playbook.
My God.
This model bears an uncomfortable resemblance to what we have seen in Hungary. Emergency powers were used to centralize procurement authority. Regulatory checks were bypassed in the name of speed.
Yeah.
Public contracts were channeled through politically controlled entities. Oversight institutions were weakened or sidelined. The result was a reconstruction and development model widely criticized for cronyism, opaque procurement, and misallocation of public funds. We must ask ourselves, are we building for resilience or are we building a Jamaican version of that same model? I want to turn to what I might call the perfect conditions for abuse.
My God.
Combination of secrecy and indemnity.
Yep, listen to this.
The bill composes this by combining these two dangerous provisions. The first is the secrecy clause. Officials are legally bound to treat documents as confidential with criminal penalties for disclosure, not administrative, criminal penalties. And then these officials are indemnified for any actions taken in their roles.
Indemnified means they will not be charged. They cannot be held liable legally. That's what indemnify means. Let's continue.
So you're combining secrecy, executive control, weak oversight, massive discretionary spending. Mr. Speaker, this is not the formula for efficiency.
No.
This is a fertile ground for
corruption. Facts. 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 Play that again.
First is the secrecy.
Play it again, Bolo. Play it again.
Have a secrecy clause. And if you break the code of secrecy, you have a person. You have a penalty to face in a court. So if there's anything illegal happening with the documents, then you cannot say anything. This is the perfect excuse for you to commit crimes in the position of Nara.
Yep.
Well, I cannot do my derelict duty as a citizen of the country, as a patriot, to point out and be a whistleblower. Or I will go to prison. I will have a record on my name. Are charged in some way, shape, or form. I don't know the detail of the charge, but it has to be prison time. For you to be sworn to secrecy. That you can't talk if any corruption are going. No, Jamaica. This is barefaced. This is a barefaced attempt for criminality with Nara, as far as I'm concerned. Let's play that back. See, an indemnity. The bill composes
Oh my God.
by combining these two dangerous provisions. The first is the secrecy clause. Officials are legally bound to treat documents as confidential with criminal penalties for disclosure, not administrative, criminal penalties. And then these officials are indemnified for any actions taken in their roles. So you're combining secrecy, executive control, weak oversight, massive discretionary spending. Mr. Speaker, this is not the formula for efficiency. This is a fertile ground for corruption. They can talk about accountability to Parliament.
What's up, Rosalie?
For annual reports, audited accounts, tabling in Parliament. But let us.
I agree with you. Any member of Parliament, well, some of them agree already because Civil Right jump up and defend it. Him figure a person for agreeing with it. Yeah, man. If there was ever a time where you would face prison time agreeing with a bill, this is the time. That's how bad the bill is. Like, it's just blatant. It's set up for criminals to do crimes and get away with it in the government. That's what this bill is set up to do. Perfect. Whether it was the intention of the individuals that crafted the bill to do so or not, I'm telling you, it is set up perfectly for them to commit crimes, thief the bag of money we allocated for rebuild, and put in a them pocket and put in a them friend pocket or them family them pocket. You understand? 6.7 billion US dollars is what is going to be allocated to Nara for the rebuild, if I'm not mistaken. 6.7 billion US dollars. Times that by 160. Just a try show now. That's how we are dealing with. And you're telling me that the CEO will not face any criminal charges if they are in any wrongdoing? Nadine, what's up? Genius, big up. Make it make sense, Jamaica. Me just asking if it make it make sense. Because it not make no sense to me, you know. Oh, somebody can support that bill, you know. No sense in make to me. You understand? And then you see Marlin Malawo for jump out of the box and show them up. But anyway, more me I go move on from that little bit and go to this. The wonderful Peter Gay Ferguson, she's back at it with the what you call it, what she called it again, unfiltered with Peter Gay. And I'm sure she's gonna talk about this because it's one of the biggest topics. So I'm listening this for the first time, so let's listen together. Alright. Oh wait a minute. We have head boy in the building. Whoa, 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 head boy calling, ladies and gentlemen. Head boy, what's going on, man?
Good morning, I mean good afternoon, brother.
Good afternoon, my brother.
It seems like the opposition listen to you and I on Monday.
You know that true? You see when me play back the tape, me say, hold on. No man, they don't say they wanna listen to you. No, when me play back the tape, every single thing we ask the opposition to do, them do it in our parliament. Every single thing, brother.
Bolo, I could not believe because I just re-listened the tape yesterday, right?
Yes.
And then I was saying to somebody, but it seems like the opposition is
every word, brother.
And they came out swinging at this now because I thought, as we said, that this now cannot stand.
Yes.
I'm calling you to show you how dishonest Andrew, because Andrew is. They're right now in St. Mary, in Galena. Right?
Yeah, I saw the press conference. Yeah, I saw it on GIS.
Breaking ground for the fourth time on a housing scheme in Galena.
Fourth time? Yes, a lot of mercy. Father God, take your case. Well, wait. The fourth time?
The fourth time, I can send you.
In how many years? When was the first groundbreaking?
The first groundbreaking was done in 2018. The second one was in 2020. The third one was in 2022, and the last was in 2024.
So every 2 years they do a groundbreaking.
But it's not done there. Guess who they give the contract?
Who that?
A company named Enan Further, Enan Sister, Enan Third, Enan. I don't even know which Enan, but I tell you who they are. They are the people who build the scheme. No man to go be with like mash up Edmund Rich.
Jamaica, we can't make this up. We cannot make this up, bro. How do you enter into a contract with a company? And it's about building. And we see the result of Hurricane Melissa and how that went down. And you use the same company again.
It's the same structure of the proposal. I listen to the thing, and I remember now, by the way, I'm not afraid to tell nobody I see me that in a demi. Yeah?
Yes.
That's my community. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I listened because I'm interested in some of the land there because it's a very nice land.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So I listened to find out what was happening and if it was good. They're proposing the same prefabricated bullshit they did in Edmund Ridge.
Mighty God.
No, I can tell people about prefabricated, right? Prefabricated is not for the Caribbean.
Cannot
the reason
be.
For it
with these monster storms coming, brethren.
Prefabricated was built to withstand category 1 and category 2. That's what they test them for in China.
But if that is the case though, I don't think when I say me confidence say I tell me the truth on that. Why would anybody do that knowing so we have category 3 storm regular in the Caribbean? Those can't even the regular storm them coming in the Caribbean, they can't withstand. So why would they even propose that type of building structure in the Caribbean in the first place? And the government run with it.
You are getting money from the developer.
Okay, the kickbacks. Mighty God. Jamaica, wanna see how corruption mash and then them charges people millions of dollars for these structures.
One of the lots in there in Galena is 3.5. That is not bad.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
That is very good. Because it's going to give the people of St. Mary a good opportunity to own something along the sea coast. Very beautiful. Yeah? But here's the issue. The houses are going at $8 and $14 million. Right? This is the same Edmund Ridge price. So if you look, what they're going to do is just take up the same drawing they used in Edmund Ridge and bring it into St. Mary. By the way, Edmund Ridge was not near the sea. Galena sits right
there. Yes, and you talk about some serious headwinds going up on the hill there, so Camino Galena.
Remember the 4 Point Robin in the island, Galena Point, Moran Point, Nickel Point?
Yes. So a serious headwinds them they I go clap this up on them the house them. Mighty God.
And I welcome the initiative for land and housing, I can never oppose it.
No, we can never do that. We can never do that.
But I am urging the people, if this is a prefabricated structures, do not take them. Matter of fact, an investor from Jamaica wanted to do some business in here. And the government asked them in the country that I am if they would do prefabricated. The investor said, no, I'm not going to do it. He said, after my experience in Jamaica with prefabricated, I will never touch prefabricated. Right. Because him have a reputation for uphold. Exactly. And then what a lot of people don't know, when you do projects, there is a percentage of the pay you don't get. You don't get a percentage contract that is put in contingency if anything should happen. The default repair period, and you have to come back and repair it if you're a reputable contractor. So why is Enan Fifth pushing this prefabricated concept that they know is not for Jamaica? Well, how can you blame them if the government is a part of it and allowing it? I can't even blame the entity. The government allow them. I government, I them put the squarely the blame on it, brother. I am with you with that, Bolo, but as a developer. In terms of their reputation, I understand what you're saying. Man. Yeah, I guess they don't care about their reputation then. No, well, that's Chinese for you, by the way. Mighty God. Do you know some of the biggest drug runner and gun runner in Jamaica is the Chinese and money launderers? Listen, I tell people, don't get it twisted. There's a mafia in China as well. Like, please calm down with the praising the Chinese like they're God sent people that don't sin. Stop it. They're involved in everything. You understand? Just like everybody else. Them is not the saint of a people. You understand? Them have a good work ethic. Don't get me wrong. But they are into things, okay? Don't get it twisted. As I go, brother, I see this Nara. Yes. I don't call it Nara, I call it Nawok. 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 Because Nara Nawok. Nawok. Cannot stand. Nawok cannot, because the problem with it is when you and I don't have people regurgitate what the speakers have said. But the danger of it, you will not have any projects done. That is the idea, No projects will be done on behalf of the people. Right now, Nara should be, if they were serious about helping poor people, they would have structured a board already. Invite opposition member, invite some people from the civil society that some of us respect. Yes. Bring them on the board and say, look, we are left the money. Let's start to build. But that is exactly what Mark Goni was proposing from the start. Yeah. All stakeholders on board. I tell you, I tell you, as old people say, the more things change, the more they remain the same. But all I have to say to thief in Andrew and thief in Montague and thief in Dalvas. Mighty God. By the way, you know that they call the place in Montego Bay that was destroyed by the storm Edmund Ridge? I'm going to ask my good friend Edmund Bartlett, is it related to you? I'm going to leave about later. One head boy, the man, may I tell you, General Checky, big up yourself, my boss. That is it. Let's go to Unfiltered.
Ferguson, and before we get started today, I need to ask you to do something for me. I need you to go and find yourself a gas mask, a proper one, because what I'm about to share with you involves levels of gas so thick, so concentrated, so persistent that without proper respiratory protection, you may find yourself genuinely lightheaded by the end of this episode. You have been warned. The fumes are real. They're coming from the very top. This week on Unfiltered, we are handing out the first ever Gaslighter of the Week awards. These go to the individuals who looked the Jamaican people, and in one case, the entire Caribbean, directly in the eye and said, with a completely straight face, something that the facts simply do not support. Make us start. Our first award goes to the Prime Minister himself.
Me say me know say him have to get the first award. Who is a bigger gaslighter than Andrew? You know, say I must be listening to this. Me know say him did have to get the first award, Jamaica. No doubt about it. Have to get the first award, brother. Remember me tell you that.
With a very honorable mention to the Minister of Labour and Social Security,
Colonel Charles Jr.
Colonel Charles Jr. Now, as you know, Jamaica is still recovering from Hurricane Melissa. The government launched the Roofs program, the restoration of owner or occupant family shelters, a $10 million initiative to get grants into the hands of people whose homes were damaged or destroyed. Last week, the Prime Minister told the country that the program has been slowed down because too many Jamaicans are unbanked and without formal identification. In other words, the people without bank accounts and IDs are the problem. Now, Mama ask you something. In January of this year, this same government partnered with a company called WePay and launched the National Payment Company of Jamaica, the NPCJ, on the 13th of January, to be exact. What does WePay do? Well, according to WePay's own website, they built a platform that is, and I want you to listen carefully to this, designed for both the banked and the unbanked. Their words, not mine. So, the main reason for existing is to make sure people when have no bank account have other ways of getting money, right? The roofs grants were designed to be distributed digitally through this very system. Recipients would receive a QR code and collect their grants at partner hardware stores and Fesco petrol stations across the island. No bank account required. So, the Prime Minister launched a system that was built for unbanked Jamaicans and then told those same unbanked Jamaicans that they're the reason the system isn't working. You see what me right here, sir? And it gets sharper than that. MP Perkins brought the case of Miss Angela Allen to Minister Charles in a press conference last week. Miss Allen was approved for a grant. She appeared in a photograph at the government's oath ceremony holding up a $500,000 check. Her name was on a list sent to Minister Charles' assistant on the 23rd of February, the day before that very ceremony. And yet, when she got the QR code, it was for $200,000 and her whole home was lost. Yet, the NIS office told her there's nothing they can do and to go speak to her MP. By the way, days after the minister's press conference, they have now sent persons back to reassess the extent of her damage. Why not just say I did the same thing from the get-go? Then there is Mr. Walker, known to many as Manawal in MP Nikisha Birchall's constituency. The Prime Minister posted this picture on his social media holding up a cardboard check for $500,000. Yet, Minister Charles at the post-cabinet briefing the next day claimed that many are being used as political tools by people to agitate for grants, for which they do not qualify. He said they should not let themselves be fooled. Yet, 4 days after that press conference, Mr. Walker collected his grants from the NIS office. So, either Minister Charles did not have accurate information when he made that statement, or the information he had was not accurate. Either way, the people who raised those concerns were not thanked for catching the errors. They were called liars. They were called mischief makers. No, if you have been approved, if your name is on a list, if you are photographed at the ceremony and you still cannot get your grant while officials tell you they do not know you, what would you call that? Because I know what I would call it. Gaslighting, first pass, with a QR code attached. Our second Gaslighter of the Week award goes to none other than Dr. Christopher Tufton. No, we covered the University Hospital of the West Indies in detail in episode 1. The $40 billion tax debt, the consulting contract paid before it was signed, the procurement issues, all of it. You can go back and watch that if you missed it. But this week, the situation at UWI Hospital grew more concerning. Reports emerged that on Friday, a man was struck by a vehicle just around the corner from the hospital. An ambulance passed, it did not stop. The ambulance crew said they could not assist. And while this was happening, Cornwall Regional Hospital remains unfinished. The Promised Home facility is out of reach. Mothers are losing babies under circumstances that demand explanation. Patients are waiting days, not hours, days to be seen. Where is the Minister of Health in all of this? Is he in a boardroom? Is he at a hospital doing an emergency review? Is he before the parliament or the people answering questions? Nah. Dr. Tufton was in Montego Bay, in Sunshine Square, conducting what I can only describe as a vox pop.
No. Listen to me. Peter, Miss Peter Gay Ferguson, if you're listening, sweetheart, I love the episode Unfiltered. You are a natural. Please continue. You have content galore. Yo, share up them out in Jamaica. Mighty God.
Who give jackets, who receive jackets, and how people feel about the jackets they have received. I am not making this up. This man is a whole Minister of Health, and his focus at this precise moment in Jamaica's public health crisis was jackets. Jamaica, I say this with all the sincerity I can muster. This man did not just light a gas, he has installed a whole pipeline. Grab your mask, the fumes are rising. And now, for our international segment, because gaslighting, it seems, knows no borders. Mizia Yusuf, he is the Home Affairs spokesperson for Reform UK, and earlier this month, he announced what his party is calling the reparations lock. The policy is simple. Any country that formally demands slavery reparations from Britain will have visa issuances to its citizens halted immediately. Jamaica was named directly. So were Ghana, Nigeria, and other Caribbean and African nations. Mr. Yusuf says that demands for reparations are insulting. He says Britain has already made sacrifices because it was the first major port to abolish slavery. His exact words were, and I quote, "The bank is closed and the door is locked." Let us think about this carefully. No, Britain did abolish slavery. That is true. Britain also paid compensation when it did so. The compensation, however, did not go to the enslaved. It went to the slave masters. The British government actually borrowed to pay that compensation, and British taxpayers, including, by extension, the descendants of enslaved people in Commonwealth countries who later became taxpayers, were still paying off that debt until 2015. You heard right. That's only a decade ago. So, when Mr. Yusuf says Britain made sacrifices, he is technically correct. Britain borrowed money to compensate the people who had been profiting from the labor of enslaved human beings. That is the sacrifice he is referencing. And now, when the descendants of those enslaved people ask for the conversation to be had, Mr. Yusuf's response is to threaten to close the door on their nurses, their students, their families, and their workers who contribute to the British economy every single day.
Wow.
The Caribbean Operations Commission called this policy a legacy of toxic racism. Pause for cause. My granny used to say, Anna every king teeth a laugh. This statement from Mr. Yusuf comes 13 days after the UN voted the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity and called for reparations. Don't forget the countries who vote against it, the ones who could have voted and never vote, and the ones who voted in support of this resolution, like the Caribbean and most of Latin America and African countries. I will leave you to draw your own conclusions. But I will say this, the argument that the people who were enslaved should be grateful that their enslavers eventually stopped enslaving them, and that asking for more than that is insulting, that is a very particular kind of gas. The kind that is odorless, the kind that you do not always smell until it is already in the room. Check your mask. So, there we have it, Jamaica. This week's gaslighters. A prime minister who built a system for unbanked people and then blamed unbanked people for the system's failures. A Minister of Labor and Social Security who, instead of addressing the issue and admitting the error, instead decides it's best to call those who stood on behalf of those who needed help tricksters. A health minister whose public health crisis response apparently involves straight interviews about paternity fraud, and an international politician who wants you to believe that closing the door on Caribbean people is actually an act of principle. Here's the question I want to leave you with today, and it is the question this show will always come back to. What did you see with your own eyes? What did you hear with your own ears? And when someone stands in front of you and tells you that what you saw and what you heard is not what actually happened, who are you going to believe? Them or yourself? That is the thing about gas. It works best in closed room. So open a window, think for yourself, and come back here where we keep the air clean. I am Peter Gay Ferguson. This is Unfiltered.
No, Peter gave Ferguson, I forget a replay upon that one. No, Jamaica. So when she dropped a while ago, me even did a pray. No, man, you should put this together, man. Peter gave big up yourself, you know.
It started today. I need to ask you to do something for me. I need you to go and find yourself a gas mask, a proper one, because what I'm about to share with you
No, I didn't see it.
involves
I didn't see your last text. Hold on. Your last text says Jamaica speaks to the war. Go on, big up yourself. Me know some tailor jacket one. Mighty God, what is going on? Jacket business. One person can't even so. I'm going to call you when you're finished, so make sure you answer. You write it backside. All right, miss.
was of gas so thick, so concentrated, so persistent that without proper respiratory protection, you may find yourself genuinely lightheaded by the end of this episode. You have been warned. The fumes are real. They're coming from the very top. This week on Unfiltered, we are handing out the first ever Gaslighter of the Week awards. These go to the individuals who looked the Jamaican people, and in one case, the entire Caribbean, directly in the eye and said, with a completely straight face, something that the facts simply do not support. Because stop. Our first award goes to the Prime Minister himself, Dr. Andrew Holness, with a very honorable mention to the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Colonel Charles Jr. Now, as you know, Jamaica is still recovering from Hurricane Melissa. The government launched the Roofs program, the restoration of owner or occupant family shelters, a $10 billion initiative to get grants into the hands of people whose homes were damaged or destroyed. Last week, the Prime Minister told the country that the program has been slowed down because too many Jamaicans are unbanked and without formal identification. In other words, the people without bank accounts and IDs are the problem. Now, Mama ask you something. In January of this year, this same government partnered with a company called WePay and launched the National Payment Company of Jamaica, the NPCJ, on the 13th of January, to be exact. What does WePay do? Well, according to WePay's own website, they built a platform that is, and I want you to listen carefully to this, designed for both the banked and the unbanked. Their words, not mine. So, the main reason for existing is to make sure people when have no bank account have other ways of getting money, right? The Roofs grants were designed to be distributed digitally through this very system. Recipients would receive a QR code and collect their grants at partner hardware stores and Fesco petrol stations across the island. No bank account required. So, the Prime Minister launched a system that was built for unbanked Jamaicans and then told those same unbanked Jamaicans that they're the reason the system isn't working. You see what me right here, sir? And it gets sharper than that. MP Perkis brought the case of Miss Angela Allen to Minister Charles in a press conference last week. Miss Allen was approved for a grant. She appeared in a photograph at the government's oath ceremony holding up a $500,000 check. Her name was on a list sent to Minister Charles' assistant on the 23rd of February, the day before that very ceremony. And yet, When she got the QR code, it was for $200,000 and her whole home was lost. Yet, the NIS office told her there's nothing they can do and to go speak to her MP. By the way, days after the minister's press conference, they have now sent persons back to reassess the extent of her damage. Why not just say I did the same thing from the get-go? Then there is Mr. Walker, known to many as Manawal in MP Nikisha Birchall's constituency. The Prime Minister posted this picture on his social media holding up a cardboard check for $500,000. Yet, Minister Charles at the post-cabinet briefing the next day claimed that many are being used as political tools by people to agitate for grants, for which they do not qualify. He said they should not let themselves be fooled. Yet, 4 days after that press conference, Mr. Walker collected his grants from the NIS office. So,
Imagine that. Manawal. Them claim to say a gaslighting and a fake and real. When the man actually legitimately supposed to get the money. Are that you saying? Oh boy.
either Minister Charles did not have accurate information when he made that statement, or the information he had was not accurate. Either way, the people who raised those concerns were not thanked for catching the errors. They were called liars. They were called mischief makers. No, if you have been approved, if your name is on a list, if you are photographed at the ceremony and you still cannot get your grant while officials tell you they do not know you, what would you call that? Because I know what I would call it. Gaslighting first class with a QR code attached. Our second Gaslighter of the Week award goes to none other than Dr. Christopher Tufton. No, we covered the University Hospital of the West Indies in detail in episode 1. The $40 billion tax debt, the consulting contract paid before it was signed, the procurement issues, all of it. You can go back and watch that if you missed it. But this week, the situation at UWI Hospital grew more concerning. Reports emerged that on Friday, a man was struck by a vehicle just around the corner from the hospital. An ambulance passed, it did not stop. The ambulance crew said they could not assist. And while this was happening, Cornwall Regional Hospital remains unfinished. The Promise Dome facility is out of reach. Mothers are losing babies under circumstances that demand explanation. Patients are waiting days, not hours, days to be seen. Where is the Minister of Health in all of this? Is he in a boardroom? Is he at a hospital doing an emergency review? Is he before the parliament or the people answering questions? Nah. Dr. Tufton was in Montego Bay, in Sunshine Square, conducting what I can only describe as a vox pop on jackets. Who give jackets, who receive jackets, and how people feel about the jackets they have received. I am not making this up. This man is a whole Minister of Health, and his focus at this precise moment in Jamaica's public health crisis was jackets. Jamaica, I say this with all the sincerity I can muster. This man did not just light a gas, he has installed a whole pipeline. Grab your mask, the fumes are rising. And now, for our international segment, because gaslighting, it seems, knows no borders. Mizia Yusuf, he is the Home Affairs spokesperson for Reform UK, and earlier this month, he announced what his party is calling the reparations lock. The policy is simple. Any country that formally demands slavery reparations from Britain will have visa issuances to its citizens halted immediately. Jamaica was named directly. So were Ghana, Nigeria, and other Caribbean and African nations. Mr. Yusuf says that demands for reparations are insulting. He says Britain has already made sacrifices because it was the first major power to abolish slavery. His exact words were, and I quote, "The bank is closed and the door is locked." Let us think about this carefully. No, Britain did abolish slavery. That is true. Britain also paid compensation when it did so. The compensation, however, did not go to the enslaved. It went to the slave masters. The British government actually borrowed to pay that compensation, and British taxpayers, including by extension the descendants of enslaved people in Commonwealth countries who later became taxpayers, were still paying off.
Yeah, me know. So that story there, I haven't really looked into the story. But everything we are talking about in terms of all of the ministries, them of government failing, you're literally hearing it in this order right here. So. Yo, Judge.
That date until 2050. You heard right. That's only a decade ago. So when Mr. Yusuf says Britain made sacrifices, he is technically correct. Britain borrowed money to compensate the people who had been profiting from the labor of enslaved human beings. That is the sacrifice he is referencing. And now, when the descendants of those enslaved people ask for the conversation to be had, Mr. Yusuf's response is to threaten to close the door on their nurses, their students, their families, and their workers who contribute to the British economy every single day. The Caribbean Operations Commission called this policy a legacy of toxic racism. Pause for cause. My granny used to say, Anna every Quintita laugh. This statement from Mr. Yusuf comes 13 days after the UN voted the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity and called for reparations. Don't forget the countries that vote against it, the ones who could have voted and never vote, and the ones who voted in support of this resolution, like the Caribbean and most of Latin America and African countries. I will leave you to draw your own conclusions. But I will say this. The argument that the people who were enslaved should be grateful that their enslavers eventually stopped enslaving them and that asking for more than that is insulting, that is a very particular kind of gas. The kind that is odorless, the kind that you do not always smell until it is already in the room. Check your mask. So, there we have it, Jamaica. This week's gaslighters. A prime minister who built a system for unbanked people and then blamed unbanked people for the system's failures. A minister of labor and social security who, instead of addressing the issue and admitting the error, instead decides it's best to call those who stood on behalf of those who needed help tricksters. A health minister whose public health crisis response apparently involves street interviews about paternity fraud, and an international politician who wants you to believe that closing the door on Caribbean people is actually an act of principle. Here's the question I want to leave you with today, and it is the question this show will always come back to. What did you see with your own eyes? What did you hear with your own ears? And when someone stands in front of you and tells you that what you saw and what you heard is not what actually happened, who are you going to believe? Them or yourself? That is the thing about gas. It works best in closed room. So open a window, think for yourself, and come back here where we keep the air clean. I am Peter Gay Ferguson. This is Unfiltered. We will see you next time.
Hey, big up Peter Gay Ferguson, yeah, man. Can't, yo, the girl literally, I drop bombshells back on one another when it comes to when it comes to this thing. When in playlist, find a playlist. Uh, find a playlist. Here we go.
Bolo, kita maroon ito.
All right, see, this is the first one.
One track.
This is one track.
Strategies.
Or new
That
sentences
in
involved
Jamaica, carrying what going.
firearm, ammunition, and police ballistic vest, and other JCF items were seized following the incident in the Junction area. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Superintendent Coleridge Minto says the operation was launched about 4:30. He adds that it follows the murder of a woman in Red Bank on April 9 and the wounding of another woman in Junction over the weekend. A man was charged for attacking Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Bell Nevis, last year, has been granted bail. 25-year-old laborer Chad Thomas of Rambo or Rakabessa St. Mary was given bail in the sum of $300,000 in the St. Mary Parish Court last Thursday. Thomas was charged with housebreaking, wounding with intent, and malicious destruction of property. Thomas is to reappear in court on May 14, 2026. In January 2025, it is alleged that Thomas attacked Mayor Belnevis, claiming he owed him money. The accused is said to have used the machete to inflict sharp wounds to the head of Mr. Belnevis, causing serious injuries. The mayor managed to drive himself to the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital, where he was admitted and treated. A man is dead and 5 others hospitalized after a two-vehicle crash along the Winston Jones Highway in Manchester about 9 Monday night. Dead is 24-year-old Dave Ebanks from the parish. TVJ News understands that Mr. Ebanks collided with another vehicle traveling in the opposite direction. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Other occupants involved in the crash were transported to hospital by ambulance. Their conditions remain unknown. Police say speeding may have been a factor. Residents of Leatham Curtis Bottom in Portmore, St. Thomas, recently took to the streets in a peaceful protest, highlighting the continued poor drain and deplorable road conditions in the area. Business places, kids was unable to go to school, and we are here today just to let our voice be heard. We have yet to see anyone from authority, nobody from National Work Agency, nobody from Parish Council, nobody from, no, not even Stephen Shaw, who is head of the department. We have yet to see anyone here to represent us, and we need answers. We need help as it relates to moving forward, because where the drain is, it is unable to stay there. The drain leads directly to my house. So regardless of whatever is done, if that drain is not fixed, we will not be able to stop getting flood. Residents say a nearby river has also become a major concern. This is especially during periods of heavy rainfall. They also pointed to what they describe as a lack of attention from elected representatives. Clean from the mouth of the river and drench the river. Carry the drain straight down. Right? You cannot take the water off the road and lead it. Just right there, you send it into my yard. There's no exit for the drain, and it's just one drain. Portman used to have multiple drainage. Right? When they came to do the road, they cover everything. They blocked all the drain. Now Portman's have one drain. Think about this. We have neighboring communities. The government has intensified Hurricane Melissa recovery efforts. This is through a partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Details in this report. April is celebrated. This, as many of them continue to and livelihoods. So, in addition to over 600 bags of fertilizer, they also received seedlings. This is part of a joint partnership between the Ministry of Agriculture and the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO.
Seeds, frozen and cabbage, carrot, cucumber, sweet pepper, onion, tomato, watermelon, and corn. In addition, we're going to be working through the RADA system and the Agricultural Land Management Division to ensure that our farmers continue to receive critical guidance on soil testing, nutrition management, and application processes.
Agriculture Minister Floyd Green emphasized the need to take a scientific, data-driven approach to agriculture, especially as the sector continues to rebound after the hurricane.
We can't sit down here and say, yes, the climate has changed. Yes, it is hotter. Yes, we see more torrential rainfall. But we're doing the agriculture just like it was done 20 years ago.
But but here my talk. If you use the same logic, the government I give people them money for rebuild. And the rebuild when them a rebuild are the same old type of rebuild. Them not give them enough money for build resilience. So why difference?
We have to
Madness.
modify our approaches.
On the issue of irrigation, the agriculture minister says through the $50 million Adapt Jamaica program, irrigation systems island-wide will be strengthened.
One of the things why we are bouncing back stronger now is because we have expanded our irrigation networks. And what we learned from Hurricane Beryl, where after Hurricane Beryl, we depended on the JPS to get back up our irrigation systems. We learned that that can't work. So now we have outfitted a number of our irrigation systems with backup generator power so that we could get them back on stream. After Hurricane Melissa, within 1 week of the hurricane, 75% of our customers had to
No, but Jamaica, listen to the agriculture minister. If you might use that the logic, they say we can do the same type of farming. Oh, yeah, gonna make the people and give the people the money to rebuild the same way. The same board and the same zinc and the same something and the same ply.
You should have get.
Carrie and Simpson, TVJ
Crazy.
News.
Oh. Wow. Which other one? What that takes so long to go to the next video? How this?
A police
Oh,
constable attached to the St. Anne's Bay Police Traffic Department was arrested yesterday afternoon after a sting operation. The constable is suspected of breaching the Corruption Prevention Act. According to reports, he allegedly solicited thousands of dollars from a complainant in relation to a motor vehicle crash last Friday, April 17. A report was made to IPROB and a sting operation set up. Now, money was marked and given to the complainant, who handed it over to the constable in St. Anne's Bay yesterday. He was accosted, searched, and the money recovered. Residents in
so they set up police at the same time. You see me? You know, the man will licky I love money. Yeah, man. So, then give them money. So once they find the money upon them, anyone say, they can't say, I never them. Because I saw them do drug dealer too, And them people, give them money, So once you're angry money, then can't trace back your money anywhere money go. So that them to the police. Yo, Jaja, how embarrassing. Crisis after crisis.
Residents in Sturfield, St. Anne are this evening challenging the police's version of events which led to the fatal shooting of two brothers in the community. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, is investigating the incident, but the political representative wants it to be thorough and quick.
Emotions rang high in Steerfield, St. Anne Monday morning as residents tried to come to terms with a police fatal shooting in the community, which claimed the lives of brothers Damian Henry, otherwise called Dada, and Ramon Henry, otherwise called Horseman. Reports indicate that a team from the Area 5 Fugitive Apprehension Team conducted an operation at Ramon Henry's home, who was allegedly in possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized ammunition.
It's just a complete shock. The community is truly devastated, as you saw from the tears and the continued crying. This doesn't happen in this area, and certainly with these young men, it's the last thing anybody expected.
The police say upon entering the premises, the two men who were armed with a pistol in a room to the left and the other with a shotgun in a room to the right pointed their weapons at the cops and opened fire. The police returned fire and the men were shot and the firearms seized. But residents are challenging the police's version of the incident, insisting the men were not criminals.
All we are trying to make two ends meet. So what kind of system is the police? We can't trust the police, them. We can't pick up the phone and call and say, officer, so we are prime right here. Them see what is coming for us. This one really look good and it sound good, right? And it put a edge on the community right now, right? Knowing that the people who are supposed to protect us, right? They're basically turning against us. Yes, and I feel so out of place.
It's further reported that while the lawmen were assisting the injured man to the service vehicle to seek medical attention, angry residents blocked the roadway, preventing them from immediately transporting the man to hospital. The brothers were eventually rushed to hospital, where they were pronounced dead. In the meantime, Member of Parliament for South East St. Anne, Dr. Kenneth Russell, wants a thorough investigation.
What the people are saying is completely different from what the police has reported. So many pieces of the story just don't add up. The baby, the warrant, the shooting, so much of it just doesn't make any sense. And so I'm glad Indicom came by today, and I'm hoping that we're going to get a quick, thorough investigation and that the people can truly see justice in this matter. Because as things stand right now, it's not looking as though the police had the same experience that the community had.
Good
Good morning, one and all. This is your apostle, Elijah Peter Chambers. Hallelujah. With another word. Hallelujah. All over, I have been contacted. They're calling me. Interviews are coming. People are inspecting the prophecies, the visions that the Lord has given unto me for the nation of Jamaica. And we have all seen the manifestation. Only the evil ones from the evil territory are still saying that I'm false and I'm fake and I'm an imposter. However, that's their conclusion, that's their opinion. Hallelujah. But we've got to talk a little about the local government election and what has been happening since the conclusion. And we see where there was a fight for the KSSC that is down in Kingston. And they said that they have won. Yet, I think it's Winston Ennis who withdrew himself from that position and expressed that wants to protect his character, his moral integrity, his family, etc. Then another video was done, which psychological, those who work in the psychological realm know that either he has been threatened, his tone of voice is saying that the last video that Winston Ennis did, he was threatened. He was threatened, I don't know by whom, for him to reinstate himself, but he's not comfortable. But the judgment, and I don't want to tell the leader of this land that as long as they are in power, trouble is going to follow them. Right now, what the Lord is revealing to me pertaining to this present government, that it will be constant war among them. Some of you thought that the war has been here for a very long time, but the war is going to increase among the Lord's going to show and prove to the people of Jamaica that he's not with this government. Somebody said, thus said the Lord. The Lord spoke to me to tell the Prime Minister of Jamaica and his whole team that he is not with this people. Praise be to God. He's not with this government. Their decisions and the Samoa that is signed behind the back of the people of the nation, the citizens of this land. It will be exposed. Also, the Lord reveals to me that someone is going to rise up, and this is someone that is untouchable. This is someone that has their secret, that has their corruption, that has their ticket. This is someone that will expose them in a disgraceful manner. Truth are going to be exposed. Because what we see where people are resigning, people are getting sacked, people are getting fired, these decisions are very, very sticky. And even with Warmington, it is going to cause a lot of anger around in the JLP party. After the election, the local government election, the Lord said the judgment has begun. The judgment has begun. Because they have stole the election,
They will experience judgment upon judgment. Hear ye the word of the Lord. And if you notice, Winston Ennis, he was supposed to swear in, and he withdrew. This is showing the level of dishonesty that this present government and the EOJ have done to the nation. And if you notice, every day you hear in the news, who has lost seat, who have won seat. Until today, it cannot be concluded. And listen, it will not be concluded, says the Lord, until the Prime Minister, the EOJ, comes out and declare the truth. The Bible said, you shall hear the truth, and the truth shall set you free. People are going to die because of this lie. People are going to lose their lives. People are going to get sick. Listen, God is going to take you down. And listen, none of you can fight God. I heard some of you say that if anything happened to the leader, they're coming for me. Listen, you can't fight God. Because everybody knows that the people that God has protected, none of you can touch. And if you could remember in 2021, March 24, when CETA came for me, the Prime Minister of Jamaica signed my death warrant. And I'm not telling you that. The allegation proves, and he can't sue me. I am the one who should be suing the leader of Jamaica.
Guys, remember say Friday,
the Lord said, leave him to me.
Do the
I will
right thing.
take good care of him. Listen, thus said the Lord, your kingdom will crumble in such a way that you will wonder, what have I done to cause such judgment? The people are going to rise up against you, just as how the nation has raised against you. In the very party, in the very kingdom, in the very government, they're going to rise up one by one. They're going to rise up against you until they get you out. The Lord says, listen, you have stolen the election, and your conscience is eating you out. When you lay in your bed, leader of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, you're having sleepless nights. And this is the root cause why there's so much bang around. There's so much war among you. I heard that there's war among you with Mr. Warmington because you declared that he's sending his resignation, which that was a lie. He came out, Mr. Warmington came out and declared that he was fired. Then there is another war taking place in Clarendon. There is another war that's going to take place in St. James. There is another war that's going to take place in Portland, St. Mary, St. Thomas, St. Catherine. There will be turmoil among you, says God, until you come out and declare that PNP have won. And I, the Lord God, will prove to the nation that I am against this present government. And I, the Lord God, is defending the PNP party. It is going to be proven. I know some of you are going to be upset, but listen, you all are in witchcraft. You all have signed yourself to the Baphomet. You have sold yourself to the devil. You all are grandmasters. You're assigned to the lodge. The Bible said that you cannot pour new wine into dirty bottle. How are you saying that you know God and you're affiliated with God, yet your hands are tied with the devil? Psalm 37, the Lord says, declare the scripture. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. For they shall soon be cut down like a grass and withered as a green herb. Thus said the Lord unto Holness, your kingdom will crumble right before your hands. The Lord gave me a vision and showed me in a vision where you're crying, tears streaking from your eyes. Because God's going to take you down in such a way that, listen, you're not going to die like the others. God is going to punish you greatly because of the sins that you have done to the nation, the sins that you have done to Jamaica, land we love, the sins that you have done spiritually. And all of those who are on social media that you pay on a regular basis to oppose the voice of God, those who are mocking, the Lord says, I, the Lord God, will mock you. I, the Lord God, will mock you. Listen, even if you call the election this year and next year, it will be an underground. The people are going to get rid of you. You can hear the cry all over Jamaica. We want you out. You and your wife out. Imagine, your wife is the speaker of the house, which means you don't want no one to talk. You don't want no one to criticize or to introspectively criticize your governance, and you have placed a God order on everyone. Listen, God says, I have placed a God order on you. And every one of those who have defended you, who have supported you, when you fall, when your kingdom crumbles, they're going to crumble with you. Thus say the Lord. And all of those who are barking and hissing and saying that I'm false and I'm fake and mocking the voice of God. Thus say the Lord. You will go down miserably. Listen, it doesn't matter what you do. I have placed in the heart of the people of this land to rise against you because you refuse to repent. Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News for Friday, April 17. I'm Carrie Simpson. A special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Mocha arrests 2 more persons in $80 million phishing scam. Jamaica mourns the passing of veteran singer Ernie Smith. And later in sports, Roger Stoner's agent questions World Athletics' decision to bar allegiance switch to Turkey. Thank you for joining us. Now the details. Up first this afternoon, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency MOCA has arrested and charged 2 additional suspects in its ongoing probe into an $80 million phishing scam targeting customers of the National Commercial Bank.
Sharing it, Wagwan, sharing it.
Neil Smith of Nannyville, Kingston, and 24-year-old Brandon Billings of Tottenham Park in St. Catherine. They were taken into custody on Wednesday during early morning operations carried out by MOCA with support from the Jamaica
Scamming
Constabulary Force.
crisis, water
Investigators
crisis.
say the peer
Scamming crisis, water crisis, road crisis, amount of crisis.
is believed to be part of an organized criminal network that defrauded NCB customers of more than $80 million between April 2022 and December 2023 using phishing and smishing techniques. MOCA's director of communication, Basil Jarrett, says simultaneous raids were conducted at the suspects' homes where several items of evidentiary value were seized. Now, both individuals were taken to MOCA's headquarters and charged with receiving stolen property and engaging in transactions involving criminal property. Major Jarrett says the agency remains committed to dismantling cybercrime networks, noting that these type of fraud are becoming increasingly prevalent. Contractors and developers are being warned to follow the country's laws when seeking labor for their projects. It follows the arrest and charge of several men, including Chinese nationals, who did not have the necessary paperwork to continue working in the country. This is one of the latest modern-looking buildings constructed in the booming commercial spaces around Mineral Heights near Clarendon's parish capital, Maypen. The project, now in the spotlight due to claims that some of the workers who constructed the building did not conform to the country's laws. The chairman of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, Joel Williams, said the issues regarding the workers is the prerogative of the other relevant authorities. None of those issues has anything to do with the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. Those are management matters and Ministry of Labor's issues. The project itself is fine. All requisite permits were secured, says the mayor. So as long as I'm sitting at this desk, whatever project comes to this desk will have to be approved and approved properly. Yes, that project was approved. In fact, Mayor Williams stressed the parish remains ready to continue its development boom and wants investors. As I've continued to say to everyone that I speak to, that Maypen and Clarendon by extension are open for business. So we want to make sure that all the persons who are getting involved in business will make sure they do all their due diligence, make sure that whatever is I's that have to be dotted and the T crossed, all of it is been done. Dot the I's and cross the T's because otherwise you could end up in court like the contractor who the police charged along with 8 Chinese nationals. 39-year-old Lee Gao, who is a naturalized Jamaican contractor, faces 8 counts of aiding and abetting the employment of persons working without permits. The 8 Chinese nationals have each been charged with overstaying and working without a work permit. The police said they conducted an intelligence-led operation identifying potential victims of human trafficking and executed a search warrant at the construction site in Mineral Heights, during which the team found 8 men from Guangdong Province, China, working at the site. The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency PICA later confirmed that all 8 men had exceeded their permitted stay on the island. Further checks revealed the men had been recruited in China to work for the contractor. The men made their first appearance in court days ago. With the next Atlantic hurricane season fast approaching, the National Solid Waste Management
Hi, Tequila, what's up? Tequila, baby, what's up?
Authority NSWMA says it is moving decisively to ensure the disruptions experienced during Hurricane Melissa are not repeated. Executive Director Audley Gordon says the agency has already begun strengthening its operational readiness. The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, has procured 4 new water trucks, one for each operational region. Executive Director Audley Gordon says this marks a major step forward in strengthening the agency's emergency response capacity.
With government resources again, obviously, we have put in place the conditions that will not see us without water, without electricity, and without communication at any of our facilities island-wide. Again, we have now in process 4 brand new water truck procurement has just concluded on those.
Additionally, Mr. Gordon explained that the agency's 4 regional divisions, Western Parks and Markets WPM, Southern Parks and Markets SPM, Metropolitan Parks and Markets MPM, and Northeastern Parks and Markets NEPM will each be equipped with sufficient generating capacity and water resources to ensure uninterrupted operations.
All 4 regions, yes, NEPM, but I don't see any from NEPM here, which is St. Mary and Portland. All 4 regions will have enough generating capacity to run the region if the electricity goes, as it often does when we have these kind of events. They will have enough water so that they can keep their office going. And they will have Starlink, that already been installed. And that will enhance the communication during that period.
He also highlighted the severe breakdown in communication following Hurricane Melissa as a critical lesson.
Tequila baby, big up yourself. Welcome to the platform. I think I know somebody that was on the platform named Tequila before. Good to have you. Thank you for subscribing. Also remember to subscribe to Bolo VNR 2.0. That's the main channel. Yeah, and check out the videos. I do a lot of uploads. There's a lot of content there.
Determined to prevent a recurrence, Mr. Gordon emphasized that the NSWMA has taken decisive action to address those shortcomings and strengthen its overall preparedness.
It took me a good 3 days to make contact with WPM after Melissa. And when I made contact, I had to drive from Kingston to go down there. And, Chairman, there was no water, there was no electricity, and there was no communication. And I said, how can we have an important government facility with such a vast number of commercial and, I mean, so the interest, I mean, you have money to be a nigger, you have the whole tourism belt, and we can't make contact with the bureaucracy that treat with waste management. That just not going to happen again.
Alia Bryant, TVJ News.
And staying with infrastructure-related matters, there's a desperate appeal this evening from residents of Easington in St. Thomas for the authorities to speed up the process to rebuild the Easington Bridge.
No, all of these are series of issues we are going in Jamaica. No? All of it, series of issues. We are going back to back to back to back to back. Crisis, dark days.
After heavy rainfall on Saturday resulted in the temporary bypass in the Yalas River being rendered impossible. And despite the river swelling on both sides, several residents in a desperate effort to get home braved the water in their vehicles.
That's right, 2 people dead off of the Easington Bridge up right now, and them create a bypass. And right now the bypass is impossible. See, me just have 4 sweet come from the farm there. They can stay good. So, you appeal right now to the government right now. You see, the necessary people are more responsible. You have to come and fix it, you see. Because I have to go to a farm, and many other people depend on this. A long time, I tell them they want more stuff on that in the bridge. It wants more stuff to lift it up higher. Because when the river come down, the water come over it. So they want more stuff. That's it. When the river come, they still don't watch it there. Right now, the stone are moving up. Because a lot of them come to me still hold that down here. You know, they don't come for the road again.
The Easington Bridge has been officially closed to vehicular traffic and now to pedestrians due to its current state. Residents say they are caught between the proverbial rock and a hard place. The bridge is slated for rehabilitation under the Accelerated Bridge Program, but the residents are appealing for the process to be expedited.
This road in the foot pass river now, it needs some more stuff to pull it up, brother. Some more big stone, pop, and pull it to the level of this gully has to go down. There is some more big stone and some more sand that the water to go on the ground.
Weeks ago, an elderly, partially blind resident died in the area after falling through a hole in the bridge. Residents in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth took matters into their own hands today, coming together to repair parts of the roadways damaged after weeks of heavy rainfall. The stretch from Institution Drive to Pagan Drive was the focus of the community's efforts on Sunday. Speaking with motorists, they expressed frustration about the matter. You want to fix with you said the road, they go from by the drain, so go to dry clean. You ask you for the concrete road, they go down with that. And the pressure water come up on the road, so. What about them, son? Follow me now, go with it. Follow me, car, will you carry follow me, water come on the gully. All of them, so, to put them this up. Then you shift the road, and dry clean come up. And you ask you for the and pour it concrete. The people also voiced disappointment to the response from the elected representatives and other relevant authorities, citing delays in addressing the issue. We are here trying to get this road properly fixed. Because when the fall from the other way, we get it a lot of rain. So when the rain fall, it is impossible. So what I come over here this road block. I would call them potholes, tops. So we are putting stones in them and we're casting. We are here with the former member of parliament, and he's really doing a tremendous job. I don't know where the member of parliament is. No, the MP for the North-East Central Belt, but we are here doing what we have to do, and we have the people to represent.
Call him, man.
Shaken win millions of prizes with the AliExpress. Welcome back to Primetime News and a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. Up first this evening, the government's much publicized restoration of owner and occupant family shelter roofs program is now under scrutiny. A growing number of hurricane victims say they're being turned away empty-handed in Western Jamaica. Sandy Williams has that story. The frustration is raw, visible, and growing. From as far as St. Elizabeth to Westmoreland and across Trelawney, Hanover, and St. James, hurricane-weary residents are making exhausting journeys only to return home empty-handed. Ernest Hendricks, traveling from St. Elizabeth, sums it up bluntly.
And you can't have so many people coming into one place, and it's causing a lot of chaos.
That one place is a single distribution point in Montego Bay, St. James. Now the focal point of mounting anger under the government's $10 billion roof program launched to help families rebuild after the devastation of Hurricane Melissa. Under the initiative, approved applicants are to receive $75,000 for minor damage, $200,000 for major damage, $500,000 for severe destruction. Funds can be accessed through hardware stores, digital vouchers, or direct payments. But on the ground, residents say the system is breaking down. They claim they were all advised to collect the funds at one location in St. James. Pamela Campbell, who left Darliston in Westmoreland, has been trying for 3 days.
Every day I come here, some money done, and not even 5% get through. I came yesterday and I don't get trying to save my daughter. I was going, I came up here this man 4 o'clock. And I came back, I still can't get through. I'm tired of it, man. We need the money because we house packed down and we need the little money to help. We say, long, we can't get through. Church house we live in and we want to come out of church house.
Some, she says, are now sleeping
Hey, tequila, wicked and wicked.
on site just for a chance.
Man, they wicked to people, them, brother.
Tracy Woodstock describes a moving target.
I come from there, I have a pop Portobello, there's nothing there over fear of me till me come here, so I'm here come now more than 3 times now. And every time I come here, I put a go back. So me don't prepare, what did they say? Me don't prepare 10 minutes in the morning through the post office or through a bank account. And then you have so much crowd.
For others, the delay is more than inconvenience. It's a crisis. Dwight Cunningham, also from Darliston, has made the trip 4 times. His home was flattened during the hurricane.
We buy material, but the money we carry material, like me, I look now, it's 75% we carry material. We can't afford it. If you can't come pay material, I have no money to pay material. And I afford it, I can't pay money. And we can't get the money to pay material.
And amid the growing desperation, residents are questioning the rollout itself.
When you're based in Westmoreland, we need one in St. Elizabeth or we need one in Mandeville. Each parish, when they want vote, and want to vote, they build up police station in every communal island 6. I know not even one. And when they want vote, they have a 6 polling station in a one little community. Come on, man, the government must do better than that.
I'm asking and calling on the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Mr. Pernell Charles, to get back to the drawing board and see if he can rectify this matter, because people are spending what they do not have to get to Montego Bay, and I just does not like what is happening.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Why to all this one a serious man for pull you up? And this a crisis.
Welcome back to Primetime News, and a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. Up first this evening, the government's much publicized restoration of owner and occupant family shelter roofs program is now under scrutiny. A growing number of hurricane victims say they're being turned away empty-handed in Western Jamaica. Sandy Williams has that story. The frustration is raw, visible, and growing. From as far as St. Elizabeth to Westmoreland and across Trelawney, Hanover, and St. James, hurricane-weary residents are making exhausting journeys only to return home empty-handed. Ernest Hendricks, traveling from St. Elizabeth, sums it up bluntly.
And you can't have so many people coming into one place, and it's causing a lot of chaos.
That one place is a single distribution point in Montego Bay, St. James, now the focal point of mounting anger under the government's $10 billion roof program launched to help families rebuild after the devastation of Hurricane Melissa. Under the initiative, approved applicants are to receive $75,000 for minor damage, $200,000 for major damage, $500,000 for severe destruction. Funds can be accessed through hardware stores, digital vouchers, or direct payments. But on the ground, residents say the system is breaking down. They claim they were all advised to collect the funds at one location in St. James. Pamela Campbell, who left Darliston in Westmoreland, has been trying for 3 days.
Every day I come here, some money done, and not even 5% get through. I came yesterday and I don't get trying to see my daughter. I was going, I came up here this man 4 o'clock. When I came back, I still can't get through. We tired of it, man. We need the money because we house packed down and we need the little money to help. We say, we can't get through. Church house we live in and we want to come out of church house.
Some, she says, are now sleeping on site just for a chance. Tracy Woodstock describes a moving target.
They come from there, I have a papa bella, there's something that overfear route till me come here, so I may come here no more than 3 times I know. And every time I come here, I feel go back. So we don't prepare, what did they say? We don't prepare them by sending money through the post office or through a bank account. And then we have too much clothes.
For others, the delay is more than inconvenience. It's a crisis. Dwight Cunningham, also from Darliston, has made the trip 4 times. His home was flattened during the hurricane.
We buy material, but the money we carry material, I look now, it's 75% we carry material. We can't afford it. If people can't come for material, I don't want to go for material. And afford it, I come for money. And we can't get the money to go for material.
And amid the growing desperation, residents are questioning the rollout itself.
We need a base in Westmoreland, we need one in St. Elizabeth, we need one in Mandeville. Each parish, when they want to vote, and want to vote, them build up police station in every community.
People, I'm gonna move here, man. Thanks to everybody that came on. Appreciate you. Having yourselves a wonderful evening, see? That is it. I'm out.